Welcome to LoadMaster. Today we'll learn how to use manual edit function. After optimizing a plan, click Manual Edit button at the top to enter the Manual Edit interface. The left side of the interface is a container list under Final Loading Stage and the Storage area. The storage area is used to store the goods that cannot be loaded due to oversize or goods that you want to delete. In the middle is the editing area, mainly for editing here. The lower right corner is a diagram and real-time data of the COG deviation. Below the interface are various function buttons for manual edit. Next, I will introduce the commonly used functions of manual edit. The first is how to move goods. For example, move the last line of goods out of container and then put it into the container. First, we should click the cargo to select it, and hold down the left mouse button and drag it out. Now these goods are outside the container. Then we put it back. We will find that when the goods approaches other cargoes, it will jump up. Therefore, we should hold down the Control key with left hand before the jump and drag it into the container again. We can also slightly move cargo through the Move button below. On the right of the button, we can set the size of each move. Red cargo line means it is outside the container. Black cargo line means it is inside the container. The second is how to change the construction of the loading block. The construction of the loading block can be changed by switch stacking method and switch load orientations at the lower function bar. Switch stacking method refers to adjusting the construction of the loading block through changing the rungs without changing the load orientation. For example, cargo D is placed as stand, and the stacking method is 1 row, 4 columns, and 7 layers. Click Switch Stacking Method, and the stacking method switch to 4 rows, 1 column, and 7 layers, but the load orientations remain the stand. Switch load orientations refers to adjusting the construction of the loading block by changing the load orientations without changing the stacking rung of the goods. For example, cargo D is placed as stand, and the stacking method now is 4 rows, 1 column, and 7 layers. Click Switch Load Orientations and select its load orientations as stand rotate. And the orientations is changed, but the stacking method remains the same. This is how to change the construction of loading block. The third is how to split or reassemble the loading block. This time we also take cargo D as an example. Select the loading block and right-click the mouse on the line you need to cut. It can be split in row and column and layers direction. The complete split means to completely split the block into individual goods. Now, how to recreate a new loading block. For example, we should reassemble the green blocks into 2 rows, 2 columns, and 7 layers. And the place method is stand and rotate orientation. We should hold down the Control key with left hand and use the mouse to select all the green blocks. And then click Create New Block. In the pop-up box at the lower right corner, define the load orientations as stand and rotate. Set the number in the width and the length direction to 2, and then click OK. The blocks are reassembled. The fourth is how to add goods and containers. For example, we should add another 12 cargo D to container 1 and add 1 container at 40 GP. First, we should click at cargo below. The pop-up box will display the types of goods in the task and the goods in the database. We should find and select cargo D and fill in 12 in the quantity column below and then click OK. Here the 12 cargo D are successfully added, and we should click Create New Block and adjust the stacking method. In the same way, click the Add Container under the Import from Database, and we find and select the 40GP. Then click OK, and the 40GP is added. The fifth is how to move goods between different containers. For example, we move the new added cargo D to the 40GP. Select the loading block, click Move to Other Container, and select 40GP. Now the cargo is moved to 40GP. The sixth is how to delete goods and empty containers. For example, delete the goods in 40GP. Select the goods you want to delete, right-click the mouse and click Delete. After the empty container is manually edited and click to save, it will automatically delete it. The seventh is how to judge whether the block is close to others completely after moving. For example, judge whether the blue cargo is close to others completely. First, we click the green cargo on its front. We can see from the space range that the end position in length direction is 120, and we click the blue cargoes. The blue cargo start position in length direction is also 120. Therefore, the blue cargo is close to the front goods completely. In the same way, we can judge other directions. After manual edit is completed, click the Save in the lower right corner to see the manually edited loading plan. There are a few tips for manual editing. The line of goods is red, which means it is outside the container. The line of goods is black, which means it is inside the container. When moving goods, press and hold the left mouse button with the right hand to move. When the cargo is positioned, hold down the Control key with your left hand and press the left mouse button with your right hand to move until the position is set and then let go. The cargo will not jump up. When creating a new loading block, hold down the Control key with your left hand and click the mouse with your right hand to select multiple blocks. Click the Undo button to cancel the current operation and return to the previous step. Finally, there are several considerations for manual editing. The manually edited scheme will be lost once you click the Optimize to recalculate. If the goods cannot be removed from the container, this means that the Control key of the keyboard is malfunctioning and it is still being held down. Please press this button hard to operate. Sometimes, due to the quality of the mouse, the movement of the goods cannot be well controlled. At this time, you can try another mouse. It is relatively unfamiliar and difficult to use a manual edit for the first time. You will find it simple and flexible after frequently using. More details, please refer to the guidance documentation. Thanks for watching. See you next time.